Hello there, Feastloom family. Welcome back to another episode where we explore the magical connection between food and human relationships. I'm Diana, and today I'm joined by my good friend Max to discuss something truly special, the meal that has the power to bring families back together.
Hey everyone. I'm super excited to be here with Diana today. You know, I've been following your channel for months, and the way you talk about food as more than just sustenance really resonates with me.
That's so kind of you, Max. You know what they say, good food choices begin with good practices on the land. And I believe that cooking with love is truly the secret to any unforgettable dish.
Absolutely. And speaking of unforgettable dishes, today's topic really hits home for me. So many families these days struggle to find time to sit down together for a meal, don't they?
You've touched on something so important, Max. Did you know that according to recent studies, only about 30% of American families report eating dinner together regularly? That's a massive drop from just 20 years ago when it was closer to 60%.
Those numbers are shocking. What do you think is stopping people from coming together around the table these days?
Great question. There are several barriers: busy work schedules, digital distractions, different eating preferences, and sometimes even the stress of preparing a meal that everyone will enjoy. But what many people don't realize is that the family meal is more than just eating. It's about creating a sacred space for connection, conversation, and creating lasting memories.
I've definitely experienced that disconnect in my own family. We used to have Sunday dinners together without fail, but over the years, everyone got busy with their own lives. We barely saw each other, let alone shared a meal together.
That's exactly the problem so many families face. But here's the exciting part: there's always one special dish, one magical recipe that has the power to bring everyone back to the table. I call it the reunion meal.
The reunion meal. That sounds intriguing. Is it something specific or does it vary from family to family?
It varies, but there's a secret formula to discovering what your family's reunion meal might be. It typically combines three key elements: nostalgia, sensory appeal, and shared experience.
Could you break that down for us? I'm really curious about how I might find or create that special meal for my own family.
Of course. First, nostalgia. This is about connecting to positive memories. Think about dishes that were present during happy family moments or celebrations. Maybe it's grandma's special lasagna or dad's famous barbecue. Second, sensory appeal. The dish should engage multiple senses. The aroma that fills the house, the vibrant colors on the plate, the textures, and of course, the unforgettable taste. As I always say, taste is memory, and good food is never forgotten.
That makes so much sense. I can still remember the smell of my mom's pot roast filling our house every Sunday. Just thinking about it takes me right back to those family dinners.
Exactly. And third, shared experience. The ideal reunion meal often involves some level of participation, either in the preparation, serving style, or how it's eaten. Think of dishes where everyone adds their own toppings or meals that are passed and shared.
Like a taco night or a fondue dinner. I see how that creates interaction beyond just eating together.
Precisely, Max. Now, let me share a real-life example that illustrates the power of the reunion meal. I had a client, Sarah, whose family had grown apart after her children went to college. They rarely came home, even for holidays.
That must have been heartbreaking for her. What happened?
Sarah remembered that when her kids were growing up, they always made homemade pizza together on Friday nights. Each person would create their own personal pizza with their favorite toppings. It was fun, creative, and delicious. So, she invited her adult children for a pizza night revival. She didn't make it sound like a big deal, just a casual invitation. But she prepared all their favorite toppings from childhood, plus some new gourmet options.
Did it work? Did they come?
They did. And what's amazing is that the simple act of making pizzas together, kneading the dough, choosing toppings, waiting for them to bake, sparked conversations and laughter they hadn't shared in years. Now they have a monthly pizza night tradition. Sometimes they experiment with new flavor combinations, sometimes they stick to the classics. But the important thing is that they're together, creating new memories while honoring their past.
That's such a beautiful story. It really shows how food can be a bridge to reconnection. Did the experience change their relationship beyond just that meal?
Absolutely. Sarah told me that after re-establishing this tradition, her children started calling more often. They shared recipes they were trying, asked for cooking advice. The conversation around food opened up channels for deeper communication.
I'm curious, have you experienced something similar in your own family, Diana? Is there a special dish that brings your family together?
Yes, for my family it's actually a rather simple dish, my grandmother's seafood paella. It's a recipe that's been passed down for generations, and whenever I announce I'm making it, everyone clears their schedules. What makes it special isn't just the delicious combination of saffron rice, seafood, and vegetables, it's the ritual of preparation. Everyone has a role, from cleaning the shrimp to chopping vegetables or stirring the rice.
That sounds amazing. I can almost smell it through the screen. So, if someone watching wants to discover or create their own reunion meal, where should they start?
Great question, Max. I recommend starting with these 5 steps that anyone can follow to create their family's reunion meal. First, explore your food heritage. Talk to older family members about dishes that have been important in your family history. There might be a forgotten recipe that once brought everyone joy.
I love that idea. Food is such an important part of cultural identity and family history.
Exactly. Second, identify common denominators. What ingredients or flavors does everyone in your family enjoy? Even in families with diverse preferences, there's usually some common ground.
That makes sense. In my family, everyone loves potatoes, whether they're mashed, roasted, or in a stew. It's the one ingredient nobody complains about.
Perfect observation. Third, consider the dining experience. Some families connect better over a formal sit-down dinner, while others might prefer a casual buffet or interactive meal like build-your-own tacos or burgers. Fourth, incorporate elements of customization. When people can personalize their meal, they feel more invested and engaged in the experience.
Like the pizza night example you mentioned earlier, everyone gets to create exactly what they want.
Yes. And finally, create a meaningful context. Whether it's reviving an old tradition or starting a new one, frame the meal as something special without adding pressure.
These are fantastic guidelines. But what if someone has family members with dietary restrictions or picky eaters? That can make finding a common meal challenging.
That's a common concern. The beauty of the reunion meal concept is that it can be adapted. For instance, I worked with a family where half were vegetarians and half were dedicated meat eaters. They thought finding a common meal was impossible. We created a build-your-own bowl concept with a grain base, various proteins, both plant and animal-based, and lots of vegetables and toppings. Everyone could create a meal that suited their preferences while still sharing the experience.
That's such a clever solution. I imagine the act of passing dishes around and seeing what others choose also creates conversation opportunities.
Absolutely. And here's something interesting: research shows that even when family members eat different foods, the act of sitting together and sharing the dining experience still provides the same social and emotional benefits.
Speaking of benefits, what exactly does science tell us about the impact of family meals?
The research is fascinating, Max. Regular family meals have been linked to better academic performance in children, lower risk of substance abuse, better mental health outcomes, and even improved vocabulary and communication skills. For adults, regular family meals are associated with better nutrition, lower stress levels, and stronger family bonds. One study even found that family dinners were a stronger predictor of happiness than income level.
That's incredible. So it's not just about nostalgia, there are tangible benefits to prioritizing family meals.
Exactly. And here's something I want everyone watching to remember: it doesn't have to be perfect. The goal isn't a picture-perfect meal from a magazine. The goal is connection.
That's so important to emphasize. I think sometimes people get intimidated by the idea of family dinners because they feel pressure to create an Instagram-worthy meal or have perfect table manners and conversation.
You've hit on something critical there. In my years of working with families, I've found that the most successful reunion meals are those where expectations are managed. It's about progress, not perfection. Start small, maybe aim for one special meal a month. Use shortcuts if needed, semi-homemade is perfectly fine. The focus should be on being together, not on culinary perfection.
Do you have any practical tips for making the actual execution easier? Especially for busy parents or those who might not be confident cooks.
Absolutely. Prep as much as you can in advance. Choose dishes that can be partially prepared ahead of time. Embrace one-pot meals or sheet pan dinners that minimize cleanup. And most importantly, involve everyone in the process according to their abilities. Even young children can help set the table or tear lettuce. Teenagers can be responsible for a side dish or dessert.
That sharing of responsibility not only makes it easier on the primary cook but also builds investment in the meal from everyone involved.
Precisely. And here's a powerful tip: put away the phones. Create a phone basket or designate another room for devices during the meal. Studies show that the presence of phones on the table, even if they're not being used, reduces the quality of conversation.
I imagine that might meet with some resistance at first.
It often does. But I've found that establishing a no phones rule gets easier with time, especially when people begin to experience the benefits of undistracted connection.
This conversation has been so enlightening, Diana. I'm curious though, what about people who live alone or far from family? How can they experience the benefits of meaningful shared meals?
That's such an important question, Max. The concept of family doesn't have to be limited to blood relations. Chosen family, friends, neighbors, colleagues can provide the same benefits. I know a woman who started a Sunday supper club in her apartment building. It rotates between apartments, with everyone bringing a dish. What began as strangers sharing a meal has evolved into deep friendships and a support network.
That's a beautiful example of creating community through food. It reminds me that the principles we've discussed can apply beyond traditional family structures.
Absolutely. And in today's connected world, you can even share meals virtually. I have clients who have regular dinner dates with faraway family members via video chat. They prepare the same recipe in different locations and eat together.
Technology can sometimes separate us from meaningful connection, but it's wonderful to hear how it can also bring us together around food when used intentionally.
Exactly. The key is intentionality. Whether it's an elaborate holiday feast or a simple weeknight dinner, approaching the meal with the intention of connection makes all the difference.
Diana, this conversation has given me so much to think about. I'm already mentally planning how to create a reunion meal for my own family. Where would you suggest our viewers start if they want to implement these ideas?
I'd recommend starting with reflection. Think about the meals from your past that hold special memories. What was it about those experiences that made them meaningful? Was it the food itself, the setting, the people, or the combination of all three? Then, reach out and initiate. Send that text or make that call inviting loved ones for a meal. Be specific about the date and time, but flexible about expectations. Remember, the goal is connection, not perfection.
That sounds doable. And I imagine once you start this practice, it becomes easier to maintain as everyone begins to value the experience.
That's exactly right. Like any habit, it gets stronger with repetition. And the benefits compound over time as relationships deepen and new memories are created. Before we wrap up, I want to share one final thought. In a world where we're increasingly disconnected despite being more connected than ever, the simple act of breaking bread together is revolutionary. As I always say, taste is memory, and good food is never forgotten. But more importantly, the connections we form around the table nourish us in ways that go far beyond physical sustenance.
That's such a powerful perspective, Diana. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and practical advice with all of us today.
Thank you, Max, for your thoughtful questions and insights. And thank you to everyone watching. We'd love to hear about your family's reunion meal in the comments below. What dish brings your loved ones together? Until next time, remember that cooking with love is the secret to any unforgettable dish and to bringing those you care about back to the table. This is Diana from Feastloom, wishing you delicious connections. If you enjoyed this conversation, please hit that like button and subscribe to the Feastloom channel for more inspiration on creating meaningful food experiences. Don't forget to share this video with someone who might need some inspiration for bringing their family together around the table. We're grateful for your support and can't wait to see you in our next video.